Welcome back to the second episode of the probably best national spirits in Millenia, this time for Age 4. And before we are jumping into the national spirits, there are a few things I have to mention. First things first, when you choose a national spirit, no matter how much I tell you how awesome it is in this video, make sure it makes sense for your game. Nothing is more infuriating to choose a national spirit and then realize, oh wait, I chose warfare. But I'm focusing on diplomacy and production. This is completely useless for me, right? You have to make that decision for yourself. Secondly, please make sure that you have the points accumulated so that you can push the national spirit in Age 4 and Age 5, because in Age 6 you're getting new ones, and a lot of the national spirits you can unlock will become useless in the later ages, especially with the Age 4 national spirits. And a lot of those spirits become more and more laser focused, and you will not take as many buffs with you like you did with Age 2 later on. So with that said, let's jump into the explorers. The explorers are pretty straightforward. You want to explore the map, and what you want to do is you want to visit the landmarks. So you should have at least 5 landmarks close by before you choose the explorers. And then you want to go around the world and just check out the landmarks there, because you are getting actually the explorer unit before everyone else does. Normally you are getting the explorers in the Renaissance age. This time, you're getting the explorers already much earlier, an age earlier to be precise, in Age 4, when you choose this, and you want to go around on the landmarks to get all the nice perks and resources. Also, you want to unlock the Explorer Guild as fast as possible, because you get bonus knowledge and exploration XP per completed expedition, so get that as fast as possible. Barbarians become neutral, always nice to have. You are getting a pretty nice boat, which can also spawn explorers, so that's nice to have. And you will also have remote camps where you can just walk over and then get some extra bonus XP for random stuff, right? But it will be bonus XP, so that's nice to have. Problem is, the moment you have visited all the landmarks, the explorers fall off very quickly. So this is why I say you have to get to the landmarks easily and quickly. And then later on, in starting with Age 6, the explorers lose their appeal completely. So they're not really great if you're looking for something to take with you for the later ages. Which leads us to the Crusaders. There is a bonus ability here the game is not telling you about, but the moment you choose the Crusaders, the game allows you to form a religion. Normally you have to work for the religion. Here you get a religion for free. And then you will unlock the Knight of the Order, which is the strongest cavalry up till the Renaissance age, and a little bit later when you are unlocking like some of the cavalry there. But they are really, really strong, especially in Age 4. And this is why the Crusaders are focusing on conquering. It's about quality instead of quantity, and you want to conquer the non-believers. Right? You want to crusade, and you want to go to the countries who also have a religion, and you want to fight them. You are getting the military headquarters, which will give you some warfare and religion XP, right? And you are getting an X2 attack against religious heretics, which means all the people who are not following your religion. And you are also getting the Reliquia, which will give you wealth, which is an extra building, and faith in your city. So that's pretty nice, and it is very important, and I cannot stress this enough. If you choose the Crusaders, please make sure that you are not choosing later on to forsake your religion. You can do this in this game, and if you do that as Crusaders, you lose a lot of the nice perks you are getting, which even function later on in the game. And so if you forsake your religion, that's not good. You want to stick with religion, but the Crusaders are definitely there to conquer, and you want to utilize that, especially in Age 4 and, of course, in Age 5. Which leads us to the Khans. The Khans are more or less just the upgraded raiders. If you have chosen the raiders in Age 2, you get the same thing here again. But this time, it's not the raiders, it's the Khans, and you are getting tons of horse archers. Don't worry. if the horse archers are dying, whatever, you will get so many of them. Especially later on, you can choose to unite the tribes, which does the barbarian settlements will transform into horse archers. So if you have a lot of barbarians just sitting around, you could just go there and say, okay, you are now becoming a horse archer for me, and you are becoming a horse archer for me, especially because you can also spawn your own barbarian settlements. Oh, and also the barbarians are becoming neutral to you. So you are just overrunning the enemy by force, and that's what you want to do. H4 especially, and then H5, you want to conquer as much as possible, because the Khans don't take anything with them in the later ages. Like, the Khans are only useful in H4 and in H5, and then later on they completely lose it and you want to choose something else. But again, if you're already in warfare mode, if you're already conquering and you want as many units as possible, the Khans are definitely your way to go. It is amazing how many units you can have on the battlefield. Now, let's talk about machinery, my personal favorite. Not just because you are getting the Trebuchet, which is, well, one of my channel mascots, but it's actually because the machinery is one of the national spirits you can take with you in the later ages, and there will be so many things here which are just useful for you. They're not immediately giving you a lot of power, but especially the longer the game goes, machinery is still strong. Now, with that said, you need production, and more importantly, you need iron and you need furnaces, because the furnaces then start to produce money for you. You are also getting more production from the coal goods. As I said, the Trebuchet is just amazing to destroy everything which is defending a city. And then you will get the Tinkerer, which is tile improvement, which will give you even more engineering XP and more improvement points. And you can also unlock the clock tower, which will give you 6+ luxury in a city. Like, as I said, I love the machinery because it gives you so many cool buffs, which will still be relevant, well, besides of the Trebuchet, of course, in the later ages. So it's not like giving you a lot of power, but it gives you a lot of production and a lot of economy power the longer the game runs. And I love machinery. It's my personal favorite here. Diplomacy. Let's talk about the shogunate. The shogunate is interesting because it's not really about diplomacy. What you are doing with them is justifying your conquest. You are getting one of the strongest line infantry for H4 and 5, which is the samurai. And then you are getting the strongest leader, which is the daimyo/shogun. And you just want to conquer, because you can even start unjustified wars. You can see right here that you're reducing all the penalties for unjustified wars by 50%. And you can even vassalize minor nations. Now, the downside of all of this is, after H4 and 5, this is becoming completely useless. And even though this is a warfare national spirit, you need diplomacy points. You will accumulate a lot of warfare points with the shogunate easily, but not necessarily diplomacy points. So be very careful if you're choosing this. I saw a lot of people basically failing it by taking it and then not having the diplomacy points to push this national spirit. So be aware of that. This leads us to the spice merchants. The spice merchants are another diplomacy faction, even though I would say they're more the money-making faction. But what is very important here is that they are playing with outposts. If you are not using outposts at all, like, don't use the spice merchants. You want to have tons of outposts on the map already, or you want to start building that at this point, and you want to utilize the outposts because they are starting to create border visions. They are starting to give you wealth. You're also getting the caravan guard, which is protecting your outposts. Keep in mind, they're not very strong. They're good for defenses, and they're good to keeping your outposts clean against barbarians, but they are not meant for warfare, right? You're also getting this tile improvement, which gives you more diplomacy, which is nice, right? And it will also reveal spies, which gives you a lot of wealth and luxury. So as I said, you want to work with outposts, you want to make a shit ton of money, and you want to keep that even later through the ages, the spice merchants are your way to go. But you need outposts for that. So keep that in mind. Now, let's talk about Chivalry. Chivalry, similar to the spice merchants, is focusing on one particular aspect, and that is your vassals. If you have tons of vassals, Chivalry is the way to go. If you don't do that, forget Chivalry. It's useless. Don't use it. But it will increase your vassal population quite a bit. You can spawn peasants, which can also spawn more farms for free. But then, of course, the peasant will be sacrificed. Or you can go out with the peasants, farm XP, and then you can transform the peasants into knights with the dub peasant. You're also getting the tavern, which is 9 improvement points for food and unrest suppression. And you get the tapestry weaver, which is another improvement, which is creating arts for you. And the castle is also creating culture and wealth. Again, Chivalry, really good, later through the ages as well, but you want vassals. If you do not have vassals, don't use them. It's as simple as that. And that leads us, last but certainly not least, to the Theologians. Theologians? Whatever. The church guys. Because, and this is the second faction, which has this hidden perk that when you choose them, you can immediately found a religion. Because, well, you need a religion to push, right? And they are completely focusing on faith and money, because you will unlock the monastery, which is a tile improvement, which gives you religion and arts. And if you have religious texts, they will also produce 1 luxury, and later on will produce 10 plus wealth per monastery, which is insane. You can make so much money if you have enough improvement points and rooms in a city vicinity. Like, it's absolutely insane what you can do there. Also, which is absolutely insane, and I'm kind of curious how they would go with this, is you were getting a 2x culture bonus from religious population in your civilization, right? National. So it is relatively easy with Theologians to just accumulate like 30 followers, 40 followers, 50 followers just in your nation. The amount of culture you're getting from this is just, again, absolutely insane, right? So if you're focusing on religion and that's the path you want to take, they're the go-to guys. They're absolutely the go-to guys. You can also overtake a lot of religions relatively easy, and they bring a lot of their strengths to the later ages. Unless you do forsake your religion, right, and you're going full-blown atheist, then this becomes useless. Don't do that. But those are the national spirits of H4. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you still have ideas, questions, or anything else, put them down below in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, and you want to see more videos here on the channel for Millenia, but also other strategy games, because that's what we're focusing here on the Mole Under Management channel. Don't forget to leave a subscription. With that said, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.